In my self-improvement journey, I've started to become proud of the person I've become. As I've gone on more and more throughout my journey and become better at things, I've become more proud of who I am. But little did I know at the time that this was a dangerous thing. As I continued on my journey of faith, specifically to become a Christian, I realized how dangerous pride is. I realized that pride is something the devil uses. Pride is from the devil, and he uses it to make us glorify ourselves as if we are a god. Pride makes us think we are better than we actually are, that we did everything that we've achieved all by ourselves, not through anything else, that it was all us. And it's not just people who don't believe in God that do this. There are many religious people out here that use pride, that are very prideful, and they don't realize what they're doing. There are many Christians out there that are prideful, but they don't realize that that is from the devil and not from God. There are so many examples in the Bible of how pride is evil, and the Lord does not like pride. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 5 says this: "Everyone who is arrogant in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Be assured he will not go unpunished." This was in the ESV, and the KJV puts it even better. "Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall be not unpunished." God does not look favorably upon people who are prideful, who believe that everything they do, they are the best at, that they are better than everyone else. He will punish people who are prideful, because when we have pride, it takes us away from worshipping Him, from worshipping His greatness, not ours, His. Pride takes away from recognizing the sacrifice that God made just for us to have a relationship with Him. When we are prideful, that relationship gets tarnished to an extent. Of course, we can repent and we can change, but at that moment, it gets tarnished. Pride, put simply, brings us away from God. When we are prideful, we think we can take on the world, that everyone around us is worse. And whilst, yes, this might be true, assuming everyone around you is worse than you is never going to work out. It's not the right way to think about things. We use pride as a way to validate ourselves. We use it as a way to make us feel more secure because we're better than others. But the truth is, we probably aren't. We subconsciously judge people in an attempt to make us feel better than we actually are. Psalms chapter 149 says this. This is verse 4. "For the Lord takes pleasure in His people. He adorns the humble with salvation." We have to learn to humble ourselves before God, to keep ourselves humble, to keep ourselves away from pride, to have a humble heart where we love everyone, not just loving ourselves and thinking we are the best, but trying to spread that with others. We need to be humble. We need to keep ourselves grounded if we are to enter the kingdom. This is a hard thing for human minds to grasp, but it's not only just important for us to enter the kingdom with the humbleness, it's also important just for being a healthy human. When you're prideful, you're always just feeling sort of insecure about yourself, because you want to be better than everyone so that people can't talk back to you. You might also just want to be the best because you want to be the best and you want to help people. But a lot of the time, pride is just a mask for insecurity. A lot of people that are prideful actually have insecurities deep down. And it's very hard not to be prideful by yourself as a human, especially in this age of social media, which I hate using this as an example all the time, but it is true. We think that once we get X amount of followers, that's something to be proud of, and that's something that'll make us happy. But the truth is, it won't. No amount of followers, no amount of likes on our most recent post, that's not something to be proud of, because you didn't do it yourself. It wasn't you. And all these things are irrelevant in the grand scheme. The enemy will convince us that this is the only thing we need. And you and I both know that that's not true. The enemy will convince us that pride is something we need to feel to make us feel better. And you and I both know that's not true. The only way to get away from pride is through the Lord, through Jesus. And if you humble yourself before the Lord, great things are to come. If you put God first in your life and don't worry about anything else, just focus on God, great things start to come. You start to see progress everywhere. Pray to God. Ask for a humble heart. Ask for humbleness. Ask to be rid of pride. Ask Him to lead you away from the desires of the flesh, because really pride is just a fleshly desire. It is, because it's part of our human nature, our psyche, because it's reflecting insecurity. It's a desire of the flesh. Ask God to take away the desires of the flesh, to help purify your soul, so that you live before God, not before the devil. Surrender to His will and acknowledge that everything that you've done in your life has not been possible without the glory of God. Everything you will do in your life will not be possible without the glory of God. Acknowledge that your success is not from you, but from God. That's how you eliminate pride. And I know it's a hard thing to do. You have to put God first and give God His glory, because really, you're still a sinner. Everyone's a sinner. You don't deserve the success you get. That's the harsh truth. No one deserves the success they get. Obviously, they'll put the work in, yes. But they don't deserve it from themselves, because everyone's a sinner. It's God's glory. It's God's mercy that gives them that success. That doesn't mean they don't have to work hard. They still have to work hard. But God's glory is what gave them the success. Everything you've earned is only possible because of God, because of His mercy. Everything you've achieved is not because you're great. It's because God, the Most High, He is great. I love you all. Now stop consuming and go create.